haven't actually delved too deep into the community in the kink scene, but what I have done is very personal, and I don't really like to do big events where I'm gonna be involved. I've got too much anxiety for that.
Oh,
But like, yeah, the
anxiety.
bondage, yeah, anxiety.
Anxiety. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here on beautiful Wednesday night at 8:05 p.m., the 18th of September 2024. Now, we are going to get drunk on kink. I don't drink. I had a liver transplant, but we have imagination and we have sexual tequila. We have tequila. Everything we talk about tonight is about between consensual adults, for consensual adults. Um, yeah, that's it. So, everybody, we're going to talk about queer porn. We're going to talk about what it's like to get models and modeling, fetish modeling, queer porn, fetish modeling, running a studio, Denver, Colorado, everything. I cannot wait to talk to Tequila. Tequila, how are you? What's going on?
I'm
What's
doing
good?
good.
So, I
Just
asked this to
running this
everybody.
company.
I asked this to everybody. What's inspiring you these days?
For me, inspiration is coming from friends and models, people's fantasies, um, video editing. Like, really enjoy diving into some of the video effects and what kind of fantasies I can create with that.
I definitely want to talk about video editing because, as you know, none of this is edited at all.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we could dive deep into that. But you are a feminist fetish model who has a history of pushing boundaries. Can you please explain?
Um, yeah, I was born and raised in Texas, and there was a lot of lines that you weren't supposed to cross, coming from the Bible Belt, and you know, being raised as a decent human, decent. um, but yeah, I brought kink and fetish to the burlesque scene, to the drag king scene, and like I really like to incorporate like everything in my life, whether that's theater, whether that's writing, photos and video. The scene setting, I've really been enjoying like setting up the place where people are going to fuck, and it's going to be gorgeous, and it's going to be dimensional, and it's going to be on a different level than what I typically do for just like, easy peasy videos here and there, shot on a tripod.
I have a I have a love for burlesque, especially I don't know the whole thing about people creating a show. And a
Hmm.
lot of times burlesque is kind of do it yourself. It's like, it's not
Hmm.
extremely expensive or anything to do. It's expensive to do, it's expensive to do. And that's another thing, a part of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it, the return, the financial return is always not the easiest, right? Let's put it that
No.
way. But
No.
I do have a love and appreciation of it. So I definitely want to talk about burlesque. But before we do that, right? Purple Door Studio, queer and kinky models, they're there to
Hmm.
create your fantasy, as you say. DM me for questions and results. So those are your words. So tell us about Purple Door Studio. Why is it called Purple Door? How'd you do it? Tell us the story.
Purple's my favorite color. um in Texas, like my front door was painted purple, and so whenever people would come over, you're like, okay, like look for the purple door. We were shooting a lot in that house, so it kind of just became a thing. um I mean, originally I started doing sex work and camming um on my days off from a corporate whatever, working for the man, and working my ass off like from open to close at different locations. So whenever I first got started, I was definitely not expecting the income that I ended up making. And
Really?
and yeah, that really was the decision to quit the other jobs and take it seriously. And by that I mean like 11 to 5 or 6, like Monday through Friday. I'm not quite
So
that
I'm
on
just
it
curious.
these
Once you talk
days.
about money,
Mhm.
I'm very that's I start thinking, my mind just wanders and fantasizes, and I have a whimsical. So, how long did it take to once you decided to like just get into opening a studio to really committing 100%? Like, when was it financially? What was the moment where you're like, I could do this for a living?
Well, that was before we actually started the studio.
Oh,
It was me and an ex-partner, and that's whenever I quit the regular job, and I was just doing it, me and them, and we ended up having friends that were coming to our parties or just kind of knew that we were doing it, that they wanted in on it. And so we were like, okay, we're going to have, regular cam shows where there's like a group of us. And, the more people that we just kept piling in, like the more the money gets split between all those people. So, so we started focusing on videos, and that's really where kind of our creativity has flourished.
okay. So, we have some more questions. This is your site. What's going on? I'm going to promote you to promote everything. So, what's going on in December 13th through 15th?
Yeah, I'm going back to Texas. And we're gonna carpool. I've got like probably 10 models coming or that are there in Texas, excited to get back together with me and shoot more content. And we're gonna have an exhibitor booth that weekend at Southern Pleasure Expo. We're going to offer electricity tastings. So this is something I do often in like the Denver area. Is I'll go to events and set up my electricity booth and introduce them to the violet wand and the tens unit and tasers and cattle prods, and like it's a really good time. We are also partnering with Vanilla Kink, which is a boutique kink shop out here, and the Syndicate, which is a latex event out here. And we're bringing a latex vacuum cube.
A latex vacuum cube. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. That's have you like you have experience with the latex vacuum cube
I
before?
haven't. I'm going to do it my first time there.
I'm excited for you. We gotta come back and tell us all about it.
I
I'm really
will.
curious about that
I'm
because I
hoping
see
there'll
it.
be video.
I always see it, and like, I love the whole confinement fetish. Right? I used to make homemade
Mhm.
straitjackets when I was a kid out of like raincoats and belts and stuff like that.
Nice.
I was a weirdo, right? And so I see those vacuum beds and those vacuum cubes, and they're like novelties that you see in dungeons and sex shops. But
Mhm.
like actually doing it, that's cool. I would love, yes, please report back on that one. The My fans
Absolutely.
would love to hear from you. So let me
Mhm.
ask you this. What makes your studio so different from other fetish or BDSM content studios?
Honestly, I think it's diversity. It's our ethics and kind of our moral code. Like, we're here to do what we want. We're not going to take custom videos with stuff that we're not into, that we're like, we're just trying to make the money and we're going to jump into like whatever makes us the money. We're really trying to make authentic porn with authentic people living their best lives. And that includes a lot of trans people, um, you know, finding their sexuality again, and queer people that haven't really made mainstream porn, uh, and all of that diversity. It creates like really amazing brainstorms, really.
Oh yes, just
Like
the
it's not
energy
just my
alone.
brain. Yeah, it's
The
not just my
the
brain
money.
creating all of
Yeah.
this. I depend on my models to help brainstorm, to help promote, to show up at festivals to hand out flyers or business cards, you know. We're all
See,
friends and like
this may
hanging
sound
out.
really corny. So this may sound really corny, but like when I see diversity at kink events or festivals or anything like that, or even just in porn, I get a sense of hope because I think the kink community is about connection and about bringing people together, and seeing that
Mhm.
specifically, I don't know, it's just a wonderful
Well,
feeling.
I think that it comes from like finding your niche and making money on your niche. So
Yeah.
like these white girls with big tits are all going to do content together because they know their audience likes white girls with big tits, and the more that they see these studios and they can't quite find what they want right away, they
Mhm.
might skip over us, rather than kind of using the search bar or, giving us a chance.
I use quotes. I take quotes for each interview, and so far,
Mhm,
I think you summed up exactly what I love about your work and certain other work that I fell in love that made me kind of inspired me to do the show. You say we're making authentic porn with authentic people who are living their best lives. That is that's what I'm trying to capture, just like with in conversation. Um,
mhm,
so with that, I noticed that like throughout my history within the kink community, who I've become friends with some of these other creators. Starla Vamp,
mhm.
for example, she was in my journeys. She was one of the first. She started something called Femdom Bride, where she got married, put her husband in chastity, dressed him up, and you basically made him a sissy, you know. And it was all real. It wasn't like overly produced or anything. It was like a reality show before that was very popular, very normalized, in the kink community. So you doing this is I cannot get behind this enough. I love seeing authentic because that's the best porn. The best porn is authentic because it's not overly produced. It's not because
Mhm.
it takes, especially me knowing people, it takes a lot of time, attention, and effort to produce all of this stuff. So, what is your most popular content versus your most personal favorite?
Oh gosh, I think across my studio, and like all of my models, I think balloons are the most
Yeah.
popular. And it's
Okay.
also a favorite, just like the amount of diversity within balloons, like blow to pop, sit to pop, inflation only, like balloon humping,
Yeah.
inflatables. It's like you can get into something there. And models that are like not quite ready to do like any hardcore stuff, or they're a little nervous, like, that's kind of a fun and like energizing kind of clip to make.
Until I get to the next question, you brought up balloons. I have to talk about balloons.
Mhm.
There's a huge fetish for balloons.
It's
Let's talk
huge. Mhm.
let's talk about it. Where do you think it comes from? As someone who makes balloon content for these people, where do you think it comes from them?
Um, well, as somebody who like didn't really understand it at first either, and then like started doing it, it's kind of it's putting a lot of stimulation in your body. You're like blowing, you're running out of air. A lot of times they have you like masturbating. Um, it's like the blow to pop is very like anticipatory because it's getting bigger and it's getting bigger, and you're like, oh shit, is it gonna pop? And sometimes it pops and it slaps back at you and it can cause a little bit of pain. um, I really like the really big balloons, like 36-inch or bigger, because I can kind of like put my whole body on them, and people like to see the curves like through the translucent balloon and also like pressed up against it. Um, I think that it's like knowing that this person is being authentic in
Okay.
their,
Yeah.
because some people blow up balloons and they're just like kind of stoic. But like whenever I'm blowing up balloons, I'm like, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Sometimes it's like completely a surprise. It's like I was not expecting that to pop at that time. And
Personally, do you
yeah.
like the sound of a popping balloon?
Yeah, I like it. My dogs don't.
Yeah, it's true. That's a very good point. Your dogs don't. So be
Mhm.
careful. If you have dogs, note that popping balloons all the time. If you have a balloon fetish, you know, be
Yeah,
careful. Be considerate.
if you have neighbors too and it's not the best neighborhood, like it could also sound like gunshots. So I'm always very hesitant to like do
Mhm.
balloon videos in like a, a neighborhood or a hotel. I'm like, don't call the
We
cops
have a
on me.
we have a question, non sequitur though. Stan Flamer, what are your thoughts on medical play? Do you do any medical play content, or do you do it personally?
I used to do a lot of medical play, as far as like needles and scalpels, branding, that kind of stuff. It's not super sellable because a lot of times there's blood involved. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
and I've done a lot more of that in my personal life rather than
Mm.
for the camera. I really go into this really deep subspace whenever there's needles or scalpels or anything, and
I
I
get that.
cannot pay attention to the camera.
I totally get that. I totally get that. I had a liver transplant, and I have just let's just have a new appreciation for medical play, the fear, the patience
Mhm.
involved, everything, everything. So, what about weird requests, unique requests? And this is a positive show. I don't want to kink shame or anything like that.
Yeah,
But
I love
yeah,
the weird stuff.
please tell me all
Um,
about the weird stuff you do.
Probably my favorite was whenever I was camming with my partner at the time, and somebody wanted us to hug and then pretend that we were getting stuck together, like in a comic book or something. And we were like becoming one and yelling at bypassers to help us, and that how could they just walk by, and we're in such a, I don't know what it was about. Like I haven't seen or heard of anything like this like since then. Um, but it was a lot of fun. Like I kind of got to jump into a more of an acting character, and it was ridiculous, but I love it. I really do.
Acting characters. I want to talk about role play, and that all stems from burlesque. Let's get some of the burlesque questions out of the way because I do have
Okay.
some really. First of all, what was it about burlesque that you love?
Um, I think what I love about burlesque is what it's doing for people's confidence. That's kind of where I found my confidence and my attitude,
Yeah,
and I might just like hide backstage afterwards, but I'm the fucking queen of the entire stage whenever I'm out there.
yeah, I love that. All right, burlesque has many different styles and themes. There's the classic burlesque, there's neo burlesque, there's gorelesque, there's nerdlesque, there's all these different styles. What's yours?
I've done a lot of those. I've done actually all of them that you listed. It really changed over time because I was taught in a very classical style, and it was easy, to just kind of prance across the stage and take something off extremely slowly. Um, but I got, obviously I'm a nerd, so I got into a lot of like cosplay. Like I did the Penguin from Batman to a Queen song, and that was really like the epitome of my life. I twerked as the Penguin with like little
Nice.
butt tassels, going. I've done the
That's great.
nerdlesque. I've done like gore and like zombie burlesque.
Did you ever like
Um,
staple things to like dollar bills to your own body?
no, no. I have a friend in
Shout out to
Denver
Kelsey
though that
Kilson. She
that's
does that
their
all the
thing.
time. She like rolls around in glass and stuff.
Yeah. I definitely love staplers, but I don't think that I've made that my
What have you
my
done with
personal
staplers
style.
on stage?
Not on stage, just
Oh,
personally, like some of the medical play stuff.
shout out to Nico Noir, my co-host the Sunday sessions. Her specialty is giving men using staples to give men manginas.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So like, yeah, tell you all about it. Come on the
Hell
show,
yeah,
listen to it. And with
I'm
that being
down.
said, get 15% off all the inventory at Locked in Lust with offer code YKF. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, you most popular content, weird. What about requests that you turned down for the studio? All right, do you get any requests that like, no, I'm not going to do that?
Yeah, we we have some boundaries whenever it comes to slurs, whenever it comes to like race play content or using verbiage that we're not comfortable with. Uh, and sometimes, like, that verbiage is really what gets them off, but sometimes they're willing to negotiate and they didn't realize that that was a slur, or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's mainly the stuff that's like our hard nose. And it's all up to each performer. Like if somebody's like, I want Mika to give a blowjob, and Mika's like, I only get blowjobs. Like, obviously, we're not gonna do stuff we don't want to do.
Now, what about locations? You have a physical studio, but I'm sure there's other locations that you use. How do you deal
This
with
is
that?
my home. I
Okay.
usually have people come out to my house. This is the main studio with the bondage bed, and I have some suspension points for bondage. Um, we're building a deck outside, which already has a hot tub on it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you were talking about that. Oh, for camera, you're talking about that. Nothing like a
yeah.
deck. I just came off my deck before this show. Uh, a deck is great. And okay,
Yeah.
so if you were gonna have sissy carpenters come, would you have sissy carpenters come out to do your deck in front of your neighbors? Full out. I'm
I
full out
don't think I
sissying
can
up.
trust them to build my deck. Okay. Like, how much experience do they have with these tools? Because
It's hard to find
it's got to
sissy
be like,
carpenters in
it's
sissy
got to be
outfits.
sustainable.
Maybe we can make
Just
some money,
like,
start a business. You know?
oh my gosh, I'll train you how to build
Yeah,
decks and then we'll,
yeah. Do leather bondage? Yeah, like get like big, big like seriously,
I think that the butch
it's a
lesbians have the
niche.
deck building on their on their
It's
side. Like
the
we could do the butch lesbian deck builders.
that's a great angle. It's a great
Mhm.
angle. You know, I think kinky people are just anybody who's sexually expressive and free should be able to make money. That's what I should
Mhm.
think.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this: how do you deal with your neighbors, ops, or competing studios? You're
I
not
haven't
everything
really
you're doing is
had.
legal, 100% legal. I
Yeah.
want to state this
Yeah.
too. You're
I
doing
haven't
everything you're
had
doing.
any issues with any of this, honestly. Like I had more problems with the neighbors like peeking in our yard when we were having like sex parties, but it had nothing to do with videos or clips or anything.
So that brings me to the question: what do you do when your neighbors are peeking in your yard during your sex parties?
You move.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Uh,
Okay, your models. Oh, you have some incredible models. Miss Isabel Demi,
yeah.
Croc, Oxy, Stevie Rose, Viviana Lux, Mika. The list goes on. I can go. Let's see. Let's
Yeah.
see what we can get away with.
Oh my gosh.
The all right. So all right. There's no nudity. Right. There's no nudity right here.
Okay.
All right. So let's go through this. This is just the first list that you have. There's you. You're the founder. Tequila is a queer,
Mhm.
curvaceous, feminist fetish model who has made a history of pushing boundaries. Then there's Croc. Croc is now. Are these just in order, in like a certain kind of order, or are these like
No,
Croc
I
is
try to
yeah,
mix it up,
okay.
variety.
Croc is a glamorous gator. of your wildest dreams, have a bitter reputation for devouring your prey. Yes, and then you have Oxy Blue. It's some magnificently beautiful people. Uh, Stevie Rose. Where did you meet all these people? Now, before you answer that, right? Before you answer this, I know what it's like to get events, to try to run events, to try to get people together, just to have a show. I did a rope show. Everybody check out the YKF rope show. I had people suspended here live, at the Mischief Manor live, in Dallas, Texas, in Portland, and in Ohio, all in the same stream. It's hard to get people together. How do you have so many
Yeah,
beautiful
it
people
is. It is.
together, and how do you keep track of them? How do you, I mean, they all have their own egos, they all have their own bodies, they all, of course, you have to be respectful, how do you do?
Mhm. Um, it really is like not all of my models are in the same place at the same time. A lot of times, like
Okay.
we have a Discord and we're always like chatting and talking about events and the next brainstorm, the next themes for the next months that are being promoted. Uh,
Mm,
and so for the most part, I've met them through trans sex parties. There's been like a couple of my models were really like doing my work, and I made a couple of appearances, but they'd show up every time, and every time they're like, "I got a new model for you," and I'm like, "Fabulous!" Like, put them in. And some people, they were friends that I had met whenever I moved out here. A lot of them do drag or burlesque as well. So
mhm.
they're kind of already in the scene. Um,
And anyone who does
just
drag or
knowing
burlesque
people.
has a performer's heart, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? Wouldn't you say?
Hmm.
And that adds to the content. So
Definitely.
how do you know when you meet one of these models? Like, what is there a specific incident where you knew, like, I want to work with this person? Like, and what was that incident?
Um, Seeing their authentic selves and being unashamed of their kinks or interests is
Mm.
definitely like something I admire, and I'm like, you should come do porn with us. Like, um, but like I take a lot of my friends advice whenever it comes to models, and I've accepted models without ever meeting them. If I do require that they be queer and intersectional feminist, so that I know that their beliefs are in the right place,
Hmm.
and that they'll get along with the rest of the models and not piss everybody off.
Stan Vladimir
Oh,
has
one
this.
more
Yeah,
key
sure.
to keeping everybody happy is not putting cis men in the chat.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Every time that's happened, shit
Really?
has blown up. Yeah.
Why do you say that
I'm
is? Why do you think that happens?
Well, I mean, I feel like the queer space is sacred, and whenever I mean, first of all, a lot of us have been traumatized by cis men,
Hmm.
and it's hard to take somebody's word um for a man, you know, because there is so much backlash whenever it comes to sexual assault allegations and stuff. There's a lot of like slut shaming
I mean,
and
I have to. I see it. I see the
mhm,
slut shaming, and I feel weird about. Seriously, like, just in everyday life, I always think, because I put myself out there, I'm kinky. I'm wearing garter belts and stockings, and I'm locked in chastity right now as I speak, and like, I live the lifestyle. I do.
mhm.
Right? Judge me all you want, but I feel judged when I see a cis man. I do. A cis white male specifically. I
Yeah.
feel like they're looking at me like, what the fuck? And in all by their account, I'm a cis white male. right? They don't know shit about me, right? They but I do come across to that. So that also leads me to the whole sissification narrative. Now, does any of your content deal with the sissification narrative? You know
Um,
what I talk about when I'm talking about the sissification
y-
narrative?
yeah, yeah. I do shoot clips with Miss Isabel Devi, and that's kind
Hmm.
of where I am the most femdom
Okay.
situations. But in on a personal note, like I feel like if sissification has been about humiliating someone for being feminine, and that
Exactly.
humiliation part, it feels like we're taking a step back, like we're supposed to feel empowered as
Hmm.
women, as feminine energies. And um I think that people should have a place to explore their genders without feeling humiliation towards that feeling of not quite being cisgender, you know?
I completely agree. My personal fetish, I do not like humiliation. One thing, and one thing I do not like about I personally don't like about the sissification narrative is the humiliation and the degradation. I like the texture of the fabric on my body. I like the role play of of just being out of control, of being I'm sorry, being controlled, you know,
Mhm.
by another human, the submissive aspect. That's it. You don't. I personally feel you don't have to have the humiliation aspect. With that being said, though, it is fetish and a kink, and I can't kink shame. I'm not gonna kink
Yeah,
shame at
if
all.
people
It
are
is.
into the
Yeah,
humiliation aspect, then go for it. But I'm
yeah. Go
gonna
for it. Be
create a
safe. Be
more
consensual. Yeah.
yeah,
There's
I'll bring a
that.
more like understanding and encouraging of like your gender expression or exploration. You can
So
find
let me
somebody
ask you
else to
this.
humiliate you.
So let me ask you this: how
Mhm.
can, as a content creator, how can you explore, or we explore sissification without degrading womanhood or any kind of gender? Maybe call it maybe
Um,
take out the sissification aspect, or the words it makes, the
yeah,
wording, the
yeah.
tone and the attitude. So I work with Mr. Shari quite a bit about that. We have a charm school, like a sissy charm school, and it's
Mhm.
not a humiliating thing. It's more of an empowerment thing. It's more of an
Yeah,
like embrace it and be proud of it, and you know wear those panties, put that makeup on if you want. You know what I
I
mean?
would call it a gender exploration video rather than
Okay,
sissification. You
yeah.
know, like teach you how to put your makeup on and how to, size your boobs or buy a bra. you know,
And
um,
then there's the major question that I have to ask is what is the deal with the inflatable gummy bear?
I just, I really like to do inflation content and balloons. So I found this and a couple of other really fun inflatable toys
Hmm.
at like a cheap store out here. And I didn't really expect it to be this big, honestly. Um, so I made a video just inflating it and humping it, and it's just like kind of been decoration ever since.
One thing that you love is photography. Um,
Mhm.
right? So misconceptions and models. Oh wait, I'm lost the question. Photography. Right? Some people are broke, but they love photography. Right?
Mhm.
How can you explore? How can you do BDSM photography on a budget?
Honestly, I've seen like professional photographers have those little like snap and go cameras, the Insta whatever's. Your phone actually has really good quality. You just have to find the settings in it and turn it on. Um, it- you know,
What
it's
settings
really
do you
just
like
about
for
the
your phone?
creativity. Well, mine has like a pro res option, and so it turns that on and it's all 4K. But that's all. That's
photograph.
going to be on the forward-facing camera. You can't get 4K on the selfie camera,
It's good to know.
so you have to like set up a mirror or something. Like,
Mhm. So the power
but yeah.
of a beautiful image, the power of a beautiful image of a photograph. I want to talk about that. And you never know how someone's going to react to an image. You know. So was there a certain picture either of you or that you took that had some kind of reaction that was either unexpected or just, that really, it pictures capture the impermanence in spring. It captures that of somebody. And when you do that and it creates this feeling. When was the last time, or when did you get that feeling? That you're like, that really kind of solidified. What picture solidified you being a photographer?
So I started out in photography at a very young age, and my first semester in college, I was in a dark room using 35 millimeter photos, and just doing basic school photos. But what was different is that a lot of mine were self portraits, and I didn't think about it until everybody's putting their photos up, that like I'm half naked in front of this class now, and nobody
Mm.
else has done a self portrait, um, and I didn't feel shame about it. Like I was like, this is my art, and right now my body is part of my art. And I got really good reviews, and like that's just, it's kind of been where I started out, and where I have ended up in the end, because I became a model and I kind of lost photography for a while because I was dating photographers.
Dating photographers. Now, all right, let's talk about that. Having two artists. 'Cause, I mean, you're an artist. Let's say it. You're an
I was spoiled, yeah,
artist.
getting
So,
free
but dating
photos all the
photographers,
time.
knowledgeable, like the knowledge that you learn, everything you learn from knowing a photographer. But then there's also ego and competition. How did that come into play? Dating a photographer.
You know, I've learned a lot from them, but they seem to underestimate me. Like,
Really?
yeah, like they help me and explain a lot of things through Photoshop or whatever. And I'm just like, you could just skip this because I already know more than you on this part. Like, but
Dark
it
eyes says
depends on the
hello.
relationship, and yeah, and some people saw that I was a talented photographer, and even like mentored me and let me take photos of their setups. Like my first like kink photography shoot of a different person was a pregnant shibari shoot, and like the photos that I got from that, like I still have copies, and like why aren't they framed right now? I don't know, but
Yeah, why aren't they framed,
yeah,
Tequila?
I'm gonna put them
Why
up.
aren't your pregnant Shibari photographs framed? Someone should buy Tequila frame. So this show
Yeah,
could anything. Hopefully, a fan is out there and goes buy a nice Lennox frame, maybe, right? Go.
a good like frameless one that's like all
Oh,
the
that.
plastic.
All right, where are the questions? Okay, we got more questions. Stan's question. There are many strap-on dildos in your porn. So, what are some new and interesting ways or things that you've done with a strap-on recently?
New and interesting. Hmm. They tend to like the same old thing. Is the
What
biggest
is
dildo I have
that's
in
what
a
they want? They
strap
want
on.
size. They just want size.
Yeah, they do.
Extra
Yeah.
massage.
I really like doing those with other models too. So we'll like both have a strap on and tell them how we're Eiffel Towering them or, whoring them out.
Then you have the Kate West question. Pegging. Why are men so obsessed with their assholes? Their own assholes.
Well, there's a prostate in there.
I think she was asking more metaphorically.
Yeah. Everybody's got an asshole, if
That's
if
true. That's true.
it's
That's
something
true.
we have in common and a sex organ we can all get down with. Right?
All right, here's some more questions. What was a mistake you made that other photographers or content creators can learn from?
Assuming you can fix it in post. Yeah, it's just easier to add the extra lighting or move the thing. And also like
Great
make
advice.
sure that your lens is clean, because whenever you're doing photos on your phone, like your fingers are all over those lenses. And I've shot some stuff and it just kind of looks blurry on part of it. I'm like, shit, there's a fingerprint right there.
That's great advice. Thank you. Thank you very
A lot
much
of
for that.
people will also see orbs and they think it's something spiritual, but a lot of times that's water droplets. Yeah.
Orbs are
Clean your
water
lens.
droplets. All right. How do you spot or deal with a shady creep photographer? You know they're out there. We know you're out there.
I personally, I've grown a lot from whenever I started doing shoots with photographers, and I've gotten to a point where and even in my regular life, that I don't really take shit from men. Um, like I don't want to put myself in a position of vulnerability unless I feel really comfortable with someone. And if they offer for you to bring an extra person, like that's a green flag. Like they don't want to just have all of your safety and control, especially whenever you're doing bondage or something where you might not be able to fight back or run, you
Yeah.
know? It's all about like how comfortable they can make you.
Hmm. Now, with all these content creators, the flooding the internet and everything like that, you focus basically on creating queer content. That's what you say. So, what are some challenges specifically creating queer content?
Well, I would say that our content is not made for the male gaze, and the male gaze is a high percentage of the buyers online. So I don't think that we are considered mainstream because like we could never make the numbers that some mainstream straight couple could make. And having it be authentic within these queer scenes. Like a lot of times, these people are in relationships or getting into relationships. And then, like, what's going to happen if that's a bad breakup, or if you have to kind of cover your ass and make sure that everything that's happening is consensual, and that you're aware of it and not just trusting that they are having that talk. Um,
Now,
yeah.
how did you meet Isabel Debbie?
um,
She has been a
yeah,
force in like this in the community. She's been a part of the show. Many of her friends been on the show.
she's the one that
Shout out. Let's
recommended. Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to
Flowers.
Isabel, BFFs forever. We've become really close. And I met her through another model. And this model wanted to shoot with her, and they came over to my home studio here, and that was the first time I met her. They shot some content. We like exchanged numbers. I ended up I shoot a lot of her like videos and photos in exchange for like time at the dungeon to shoot other models there. And she goes at like one of my favorite gay clubs, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, we've become really close.
Fantasy. A lot of your work does deal with fantasy, not like, but you get fans. You get fans. So how do you deal with fans who just cannot accept reality?
I block them.
I'll do
Yeah,
it.
I don't really have a lot of time to feed the trolls on the
Mm,
internet. So there's been a couple of times where I've gotten stalkers, but it wasn't really in regards to my content.
mm. Now, lifestyle. I mean, we live a lifestyle basically. So, was there ever a time you felt burnt
Mhm.
out, felt like you needed to give up on the lifestyle, and what changed your mind?
I went through a kind of a depressive episode, and I was celibate for like 5 or 6 years. I had kind of I wasn't inspired by sex, and I wasn't like thinking about sex, and work was kind of, taxing on me already. But it wasn't really the lifestyle that burned me out. It was like the lack of the lifestyle. It was like the move to Colorado, and kind of the political um, agendas and everything. Where I in COVID, I was just home being a hermit and taking care of my dogs and out in the mountains.
I was in and out of hospitals. So if I was not in bed, I was in a hospital bed. If I was at home in bed, I was in a hospital bed. So yeah, at the height of
Mhm.
COVID, the whole transplant happened. It was a nightmare. All right, we did the dildo question. What are some elements of double teaming in a shoot? So doing a shoot together, modeling together is one thing. Knowing to people starting a business, but actually performing together. So what are the key elements of making it happen? And this can go into burlesque, it can go into domination, it can go in just a photo shoot or porn.
Um, do you mean like doing a double team on someone in a
Sure.
video,
I mean
or like
that
having
open
everybody
ended.
kind of collaborate into the video? Like,
Either or,
well,
both.
angles. It's all about the angles
Really? Why that?
and the lighting. Yeah. Well, obviously, with a double team, there's two different places where the action's happening. And so in order to get like a good angle, you're up in there like getting the penetration, and then what's in the background, trying to make sure it's not messy back there, or can I get a titty and a face over here, or like what's going on, like is there some curling toes that you need to get into the frame over here. Yeah, it's all about paying attention to everything that's in the frame and getting everything that's interesting in the main frame. Yeah.
So lifestyle, we're still talking about it. Without giving too much away, are you currently living a BDSM lifestyle in your private life?
No.
Okay. All right. I do want to. I have to say this. Like I said, I had a liver transplant. So I can't drink alcohol at all. I don't. I do not judge at all. It's everywhere. You can't. I'm getting a
Hmm.
liver transplant, recovering. I have the TV. There's nothing but liquor. Nothing but ads for liquor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's So I was wondering, was there, first of all, is there any pushback about the porn from anywhere? But specifically the name of, tequila. Where does the name come from? What has the meaning changed over the years?
Yeah.
Um, you know. stuff like that.
I'm not the happiest with it. I mean, I did used to have a drinking problem, and since moving to Colorado, it's moved into a more healthier um, aspect. Like I don't drink much. I pretty much smoke weed and take edibles. Like that's how I manage my daily life now. But
Marijuana is medicine.
it is,
Simple as
yes.
that. Marijuana's medicine.
Um,
All right.
but the name
That's
came from my burlesque name, which was
okay.
Tequila Mockingbird. I
Nice.
also
Harper
moved
Lee.
away from that full name, and so like uh, I go by Tequila Beavers now, like with burlesque and stuff, and sexual tequila for like porn and stuff. But I don't really try to keep anything separate. Everything's kind of all together for me. I'm not trying to hide anything from
Yeah.
anyone.
All right. Let's daydream for a second. The kink world is filled with daydreamers. People talk, have pipe dreams. I do. My imagination is wild. So,
Mhm.
but just imagine with me for a second. Let's say you had endless resources. You could do anything you want, anywhere, with anybody. What is your ultimate kinky fantasy?
Um, I feel like I've really chased after the things in my life that I've wanted. um,
I know the feeling,
and my fantasies have changed too.
right?
And so at this point, probably like if I could get all of my kinky friends together for like an orgy party that I used to have every year for my birthday, and we have like a bounce house, and there's like fucking going on in there, and there's like a lube wrestling pool, and there's wrestling until the fucking takes over there, and then there's a hot tub, and one time we poured enough bubble bath in there that it just like it went over our heads. I mean, I just want the absolute most ridiculous like costumes. I want everything. I want all the toys. Like I want everything that anybody could ever fantasize about there. That's legal, of course.
That leads us to the
Yeah.
stand question. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and how would you use it in your kinky life?
Reminds me of a TV show where they had a hero gasm, and all of the superheroes are using their superpowers in a big orgy. um, but geez, I really like the size growing and shrinking, like being able to do that if there wasn't any weird side effects. Really do that giantess stuff, and um, I don't know, put a fucking submarine in my pussy.
Yeah. That's a good quote. Put a submarine in my place. I collect quotes, and I needed one. That's a good second one. Okay.
The next
Now,
Ocean Gate, y'all can like buy tickets to be on that submarine.
nice. Oh wait, let's get back to the home one. There you go. Um, what is this again for people who don't? To recap, to on what's
Yeah,
going on December
Southern
13th and 14th?
Pleasure Expo. It's in
Nice.
Dallas, December 13th and 15th. We're doing electroplay booth and the latex vacuum cube.
All right, and really, this is the burning question: how do you have an orgy party?
Very carefully, recklessly.
So how does it? I mean,
I think
obviously, it's an organic. You have friends, and I love like have things come organically. So how do you don't just wake up like, hey, there's an orgy
I
party going on, and sometimes
I
depends
don't
on the day.
know how it happened so organically, but I think that it helps that I
The
was the
idea,
one hosting it. I'm the
Okay.
first one naked, I'm involved. It's not run by some dude that's going to be creepy and it's a sausage fest. There's multiple places where people can get away if they don't want to be part of like a main thing. You have plenty of lube and condoms. Um, and you set up a couple of rules around consent and fluids on the couch. Yeah.
Fluids on the couch. Fluids on,
And then you
Fluids
hit
on the couch.
Tinder and like have some interviews. And you're like, are you good enough to come to my orgy party? Because my
How do
friends want
you
to get fucked.
how do you vet for an orgy party though? Like, what are some of the, for those out there who want to have an orgy party, what are some things that maybe they're not thinking of because they're too concentrated on the orgy? They got to think safety when they're vetting these people.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
uh,
do?
I would definitely suggest to meet each person face to face. Don't allow people to just bring a plus one or whatever. I had a unique life where I kind of collected my weirdest friends that were weirdly attracted to me, from the burlesque scene, from the swingers, from BDSM, from random work stuff. Like, people are like, hey, you're cool and you have no shame around sex. You're having a party. Yeah. And then they're partners. Like, obviously, like, not a lot of single men. You're aiming for more women,
Hmm.
or femme presenting or queer. Queer is ideal, but you really have to limit the cis men or else they'll just fucking make it creepy and weird.
Don't make it creepy and weird. Don't prep the role.
Don't fuck this up, yo. Don't fuck
Yeah.
it up.
And look, as I mean, I'm labeled a cis man most of the time. On average, yeah. So I'm a good person at heart. You know what I mean? I am. But it's also you have to take me or leave me. But I will fight. I will fight for the rights of everybody. Now, Stan Vladimir says, you mentioned you have done cosplay sessions. What was your personal favorite?
Cosplay? Oh, I have a latex Harley Quinn that I really like, but like I'm not so into the traditional Joker Harley Quinn. I actually have a burlesque routine that's about Harley Quinn like kicking the Joker's ass for what he's done to
Hmm.
her and picking Ivy, which is the actual. Here's the
No.
spoiler alert if you haven't seen the Harley Quinn animated series.
All right, Lara Kai has a question. Tequila, what do you have to say to someone that is generally kinky but loves to do the feminization play? Not only simply because I generally enjoy it, but also it helped me transition. I guess I'm saying I feel conflicted at times as a trans woman enjoying feminization play and sissy play. I know I shouldn't, but I do. I know it's okay at times, but I don't feel authentic.
I feel like we're very limited in what we can find online whenever it comes to certain themes. And unfortunately, the sissy play and forced feminization, all that has tended more humiliation rather than encouragement. But if you
It doesn't
enjoyed
have to
it
be,
and it
people.
didn't
It
like
doesn't.
make you feel shame for being feminine, then I don't see a problem in enjoying it.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying there can be sissification porn. It doesn't necessarily like you. What was the term you used again? Which I loved. You said gender
Um,
exploration,
Gender exploration, yeah.
gender
Mhm.
exploration. Yeah. Um, let's. All right. We did dating a photographer. Let's see what the other questions. Sunshine says, "Hooray for diversity! Welcome, Tequila. Aesthetics are very important in a scene, especially for a photo shoot. Do you also set up pick music for scenes?"
A lot of our content does not have music in it. Uh, just because of copyright laws and because people often like to hear the sounds that people are making in the videos. There has been times where I thought that music would make it better. It was a particularly quiet shoot, or like something more dancey or burlesque or twerky. I'll definitely find music for that. And I have a membership to like a sound effects website, so I can find music and sound effects to add for like some of our more highly edited content, and we submit those to like Hump Film Festival and stuff.
All right, the word association game. I'm going to say a word or kink or something for the fetish. Please say the first thing that pops into your head. Okay.
Okay.
So if, I don't know, if I say chastity, you may say lock. But let's say you're thinking about burlesque. You could say, if I say chastity, you could say burlesque. There's no wrong answer. Right.
All right.
Right. And the one rule we have, though, is we don't kink shame. Right. So if I say a kink, and please don't make fun of it or don't shame it, just say not my thing.
Yeah.
And then, but
Yeah.
finally, right, we have the jar. This started when we first started doing this. We had a different jar, but it's a new year. It's a new time. I don't know what's in this jar. I didn't put there's a bunch of paper. I don't know what's in it. I have no idea what I'm pulling out of this. Let's just say I do love whimsical and absurd stuff. Okay.
Mhm.
So, yeah, Sunshine made this. All right. You ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
Let's go. Spanking.
Butts.
Strap on dildos.
Butts.
French maid outfits.
Butts. No.
Yeah.
Frills.
No,
Frills. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Frills. Yeah. Face slapping.
Fuck yeah.
Rope.
Yum, 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 yum.
Wax play.
Hot.
Knife play.
Sharp.
Blood play.
Wet.
Fart play.
Smelly.
All right. We're going to the jar.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. Locked collars.
Necks.
Locked-in collars.
Necks.
What'd you say?
Necks.
Okay. Oh, here's an interesting one. Alien impregnation.
Ooh. What do they call those? Egg fucking
The egg dildos? Yeah.
of the not ovulator, the ovipositor. Yeah, that's the word.
Okay. Fake eyelashes.
Spiders.
Breeding.
Not me.
Whipping.
Single tails.
Single tails. Shout out to Mercy Whips. Goddess Narcissa, a friend of the show, friend of Mischief Manor, makes magnificent whips and is awesome. Just gloriously fierce with a whip. Put it that way. Music during a scene.
Sexy.
Yeah. Okay. And then piss.
Gold. Everybody loves the gold.
We've reached the end. Scat.
No thanks.
No thanks. Okay. What are some ways kink help you in your life?
Oh, I think that it's definitely helped me embrace my being different. It helped me kind of get through a lot of stuff whenever pain is really what I could feel.
I forgot this segment, rapid fire recommendations, and they don't have to be kink related. All right, they don't have to be kink related.
All right.
Here, we'll get big for this one.
All right.
um,
So the Harley Quinn animated series,
oh,
but
okay,
especially the
yeah,
Valentine
tell me
special.
the
Yeah.
Valentine special. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Are you
If you
started
don't watch the
before
whole thing, watch that.
before I even started the start of
Oh
the thing?
shit. I'm
Okay,
sorry. I was
that's all right.
ready. I was
That's
ready.
good. Good. I love it. All right. So that's a show, correct?
Yes. Yeah, it's
That's
a
a
TV
show. Okay.
series.
All right. Recommend a film.
Film. I don't remember any films at the moment at all.
Nothing.
Oh, no, that's a series too. Hold on. Barbie.
Barbie. All right. Barbie. That was good. I enjoyed that. I've seen it a couple times. Um, Ken. Yeah, during the like in the munch and I'm sorry, at the dungeon parties, that became like when that was out last summer, a lot of those men had like Knuff shirts coming
Yeah.
down. That was
Yeah.
like that was part of the scene, I guess. All right. You did the television show, the film, recommend a book.
The feminist porn book.
Does that have anything to it? Is that by Virginia Despotry? She French. She did there's a great documentary I highly recommend. It's called Mutants, and it's about
Okay.
porn feminism. It's about porn about feminism and porn. And it's directed, excuse me, by the woman who this is a book I highly recommend. This is like definitely a feminist
Yeah.
book. Yeah, and also buy a book. People read Your Kinky Friends. This is a true story, and also the coolest way to kill yourself. All right, yeah, recommend book. That's a great recommendation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Recommend art in a piece of art, any medium, living or dead, just art, art or artist.
I really enjoy Salvador Dali.
Yeah, there's a new movie coming
Yeah.
out. There's
Yeah.
a new movie coming out. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link. The trailer just dropped a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also
I
a
went
Dolly. I'm sorry.
There was a museum in Amsterdam that was Dali and Banksy that I went to. It was really good.
That sounds
Yeah.
wonderful. Oh my god. Which one if you're going to take both of them together in that exhibit, again, which one was the loudest? Or which one hit close to you emotionally?
You know,
Because they're both incredibly
they
talented.
I feel
They're
like they
magnificent
both
artists.
speak to me in different ways. Like one of them is very like almost cult following. I mean, actually they both kind of have a cult
Yeah, both of them
following.
are.
Like
Yeah, right.
but like I feel like Banksy is more
Mhm.
politically focused, and Dolly is just like, take some fucking mushrooms and put some paints in front of you, like
And you know what Salvador Dali says? Money for everybody. Check out
yes.
Money for E by Psychic TV. It's all about Salvador Dali and his phrase "money for everybody." And with me
Nice.
talking about that, this perfect segue to this question: how can kinky people make money? Not everybody is as beautiful as you, Tequila, but they're still kinky. Seriously, how can kinky people in the kink community make money?
Phone sex and sexting is actually like one of my highest incomes. So I don't even have to sometimes get ready for video. I'm just like laying in bed, sexting people. Yeah, so just sell your what you're passionate about.
Yeah. Okay, let's wind it down. We're all looking for something. right? We're all going down this kinky path. A lot of us, we're all when we're doing it together, we're friends, right? So, where do you want your kinky path to take you next?
Um, I think that with my studio and my models, we really want like our like long term goal is to change some of the problematic terminology and to be a more accepting place for people to explore or be curious.
And Leah is gonna send us with a final comment before I say goodbye. Thank you for the reply. Lara Kai says, thank you for the reply. I asked because the messaging I get in the general scene is that if you are a trans woman, you can't be trans because you enjoy feminization kink, because that's sexualizing women. Thank you for those comments. And then Stan says, it was a pleasure to see you, Tequila. Have a wonderful evening. Wishing you the best going forward. Thank you very much, Stan. Stan is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'm
Stan.
so grateful for Stan. Stan does all the artwork and everything, especially in my time of need when Miss Melissa was um, everything happened with that. Um, Stan really came through in the clutch. Thank you very, very much, Stan. I would want to say to everybody, this is the kink community. Seriously, this is the kink community. We have to accept each other, be respectful, please. Just take that extra step. And be conscious of, I do it. I messed up in so many ways in my life, and I've found the kink community helped me save my life in many, many ways. Got me through a liver transplant. I mean, try to see the good in others. They'll try to see the good in you. You know what I mean? Just and try to my motto, and I'm gonna end the show with this: be cool, be kind, keep an open mind. Tequila, how can people get in touch with you? How can people support you? Please give me all of your details, links, everything. Go.
Our website is purpledoorstudio.com. You can find all of our models and all of our links, social media, and all of that through there and the model pages.
Thank you very much. Please go to yourkinkyfriends.com, go to Spotify and all Spotify, YKF on Spotify and subscribe. There's stuff on Spotify that you can't get anywhere else. There's gonna be stuff on Patreon that you can't. I have tons of footage now. I can put it all together. And we're gonna make a documentary. It's gonna be fun. And every Sunday, Nico at 8 p.m. Eastern, Nico Noir and I have a show called YKF Sunday Sessions. Tequila, you are now welcome to come. It's only available. It's only open to other guests of the show, and they come and go as they
Oh,
please.
great.
You could use it. You can come in as a character. You can do anything you want. Seriously,
Awesome.
yeah, get wild and promote. Do anything. Promote yourself. Promote your models.
Absolutely.
Everybody, and I want to interview every single model that you have. Let's promote
Yes.
Tequila. Please promote
Will
this
do.
every
Will do.
go. Oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Ah, yourkinkyfriends.com, Spotify, patreon.com/YKF. Subscribe to the YouTube. It's and there's a GoFundMe. I had some health problems and I'm still getting over it. As you can see, I'm not living the huge, lavish lifestyle. I do this for the love. I really do this for the love. I don't want to exploit anybody. Um, I do this for the love. Kink helps kink people. With that being said, bye. Be cool. Be kind. Keep an open mind. I love you. It's gonna be hump day. Take care.
Hump day.